Hey everybody, we're just gonna again just wait a few moments before we begin and let people roll in. But yeah, for those of you who are watching the replay, you can fast forward a little bit, a few seconds. But yeah, we're just gonna let some of the people that are watching this live kind of come into the stream and just get in because yeah, YouTube just pushed out the notification. I got it right now.
Cool.
Yeah, wait a little bit. A few seconds. But yeah, again, if you're watching the replay of this, I would say go fast forward a little bit. It just started feeding now. Okay, all right, yeah. Sometimes that happens. But I think we should be okay. We can just start the introduction. I think we're okay. Yeah. All right. So, hey everybody, and welcome to the November virtual meeting for the Honolulu Aquarium Society. And again, I haven't had any information in regards to when we can come back in person, but hopefully that is soon. We can have normal meetings and normal auction very soon. And yeah, I mean, I miss it. And unfortunately, last month was supposed to be our show. We couldn't have that. So, hopefully, you guys, find these meetings be kind of fun, and just something to fill up the gap that we don't have with in-person meetings. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it would help if you're here, you can share this with people that get people to come on in. We do have an auction, and I'll mention that later on when we get more people in the stream. But we will have an auction at the end, and we have some cool fish. And all the proceeds, again, will go to the Honolulu Aquarium Society from this auction to help out the club. But anyways, I think we are good. And yeah, Lisa said, Lisa started feeding. Okay, so we can begin. I'm joined today with a very special guest. Kyle is here to talk about bettas and what he does in the hobby and what he's interested in, because again, there's many aspects to the hobby, and it's always great to hear like what everything that people do. And there's like you can be part of the fish hobby, but you have our own little specific areas that we like to focus on. Like for example, mine is plants and stuff. So for me, I like to hear about other parts of the hobby because it's stuff that I don't really get too involved with. So it's always nice to hear how other people or what they do. And so I'm really happy Kyle's here. So Kyle, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it, and show's yours.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. My name is Kyle. I've been doing bettas for, 7 years now, off and on. So it's kind of my thing. Like plants is your thing. Bettas is kind of my hobby. I enjoy it the most. And it's really cool that we get to share it with on this platform like this with this today. So first thing I'm going to talk about is betta selection. So everybody wants to learn how to breed bettas, and they're like, oh, this one's awesome. I want another one just like it. What's the difference between male and female and stuff like that. So for me, it's a lot easier to enjoy the hobby. Sorry, it came off.
Oh,
it's a lot easier to enjoy the hobby if you enjoy your fish. So my suggestion when you go out and buy betta is buy something you like, because if you like it, chances are other people like it, and color-wise and things like that, don't get too hung up around the edges on that. But and the other thing I'll say about when you're selecting a pair in the beginning is you want to buy the nicest pair that you can buy. Yeah. Not that pet stores don't have nice fish, and Petco and those guys have nice fish sometimes. But really, if you want to get into it and you want to do it, you want to have nice fish, you want to produce nice fry, you need to get it from a breeder who knows what they're doing. So, and there's a lot of us in the club, and there's a lot of us around. So just look into it and ask. I found that the people in the hobby are really, really helpful. There's a lot of knowledge out there. Let me tell you first off that I'm not an expert. I've been doing it a little while, but I'm still learning too. So yeah, hopefully we can learn together. Okay, so and again, there are multiple ways to do this. This is my way of doing betta, but I mean you can adapt your own way. There's a lot of stuff out there, different breeders on YouTube and things like that do it a different way. But for me, I found this is the easiest and most successful way. So the first thing you want to do is you want to select your pair. Now, I have some fish here. I don't know how well you can see them. Sorry about that. This is my male giant that I'm going to be having next. Hold him up to the camera a little bit. And then, so he's a nice black, solid color. He's got a little bit of red in his fin. And then this is the female. Sorry, if you can see her. But she's actually a galaxy koi. So what I'm saying is you want to have a pair that has the same color. Because with beta genetics and genetics in general, when you have different colors, you're not going to produce the results that you want. If you're looking for a carbon copy of a fish, you've got to put the male and the female as close together as possible. Does that make sense? Color-wise, because the colors will overlap and the genetics will overlap in the scales and in the chromosomes. So the closer your pairs are together to the same color, the more better your result will be in the end. I found that to be true. But genetics is one of those things. That female that I just showed you, I had about 300 fry with her with my last batch that I did. And out of those 300 fry, I probably had 44 or 45 different colors, different color combinations. So there's a lot of variety out there with the genes, especially with the koi and the beta koi and the galaxies. The more colorful the fish, the more options there are. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. And then for the females, I've got a lot of questions lately. How do you tell the difference between a male and a female? With this guy, with this crown tail, it's fairly easy. He's got a big, giant tail. He's very active. I mean, he looks like a male fish, right? But the females are a little harder to tell. Got this girl here. Okay, she's a lot smaller. There we go. She's a lot smaller, and her fins generally are going to be a lot. Her tail fin is going to be generally a lot smaller in proportion. So generally speaking, when you're looking for a fish, you want a male with a big, bright tail, and you want a female that's got a nice, compact body. But sometimes it gets difficult. These are all brother and sister, by the way, these fish, the last three that I showed you. Like this fish here, if I can get him on camera, that's actually a boy, but he looks like a girl. All right, so just be careful when you're going out to select. The biggest difference between the male and the female beta is the female beta will have an egg spot on her pectoral fins. So her pectoral fins will come down like that, and right in the middle, there'll be a white dot. Especially when she's mature enough and ready to to have offspring, there'll be a dot sticking out right there. And it's literally called an egg spot. It looks like she's got an egg right there, but that's the biggest difference between male and female fish. All right, so when you're out there selecting it, just take a look at that. Unfortunately, with like Petco and places like that, they get it wrong quite often. Again, that's why I would go with a breeder who knows what they're looking at. Literally has hundreds of fish. Hey, buddy. Go. Sorry, my kid's playing over here too. Go with a breeder that knows what they're doing and knows what they're looking at. And even we get it wrong sometimes. The first pair that I got here on the island, since I started doing it again when I got back, the breeder was actually wrong too, and the male turned out to be a female, and vice versa. So, but you're better off, going with somebody who's looked at hundreds of fish to know, because it is quite difficult to tell. With beta, there's no color difference. So I've gotten asked that a couple times too. Basically, any color of the rainbow and any combination for male or female. There's no distinct difference between that you can tell by color. So yeah. Okay, so once you've got your pair together, what you're going to do is you're going to condition your pair. Now, a lot of people don't do this. I do it every time. If you don't do this, that's when you run into trouble where your spawns don't work out, or you don't have as many eggs, or your fry come out weak or crippled. So what I do is I'll take the male and the female beta, and guys, these aren't the real tanks that I keep them in on a regular. The regular tanks are like 1.5 gallons or more. I just brought them out for the show to show you guys. But literally what you're going to do is you're going to take your male and your female, and you're going to put them in 2 containers right next to each other. All right, so they can see each other, but they can't fight. They can't touch each other, but they can see each other. And then you're going to take and you're going to cover up those on the sides with cloth. Leave the top open so they still get air and they can still see the sunshine and the light and whatnot, but cover the sides so literally the pair can see nothing but themselves. When you do that, that triggers the spawning, that triggers the, hey, I want to produce the spawn. And while you're doing that, you're going to feed them nothing but live food. Live food's a little hard to come by sometimes, Again, a lot of people in the club, they have Daphnia, they have brine shrimp, they have things like that. Kalihi Pets always has a lot of live food. So does Mauna Loa Pets, if you want to get live food. But while you're conditioning those pairs, you want to feed them nothing but live food because it's high protein. It gets them ready to spawn. So you're going to cover up your pair, put them together so they can see each other, and you're going to do that for a period of 5 days. Now, some do it less, some do it more, but I recommend a period of 5 days. When I do that, I have much larger spawns. So when I wasn't doing that in the beginning, I'd have maybe 75 to 100, fry. But now when I push that, it's 250 to 300, sometimes more. Like I said, that last spawn that I had with that female I showed you, the koi, I had about 375 fish. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you're doing this hobby. You're gonna have a lot of fish. Now, granted, that all out of that initial spawn of 375, not all of them survived to adulthood, but a good portion did. I think I lost 10 out of that 375. So you're gonna have a lot of fish. Okay, so you're gonna condition the pair for 5 days. Once you've done that, the male should start blowing a bubble nest, and it'll literally look like bubbles that are stuck together on the top in one of the corners, and they'll be flaring at each other and looking at each other. If the male hasn't produced a bubble nest, that's okay. If the male hasn't produced a nest, that's okay. But you can still put the pair together. Okay, so after that 5 day period, you're going to go ahead and select something to breed them in. Now, this is another thing. It's really breeder's preference. I choose to use a larger container. Mine, I happen to have some bucket containers that I got from a restaurant. They're basically tubs. They're 25-gallon clear tubs. For me, spawning in a larger tub allows less water changes. And it's more fresh water for the fry when they grow up, if that makes any sense. If you breed in a smaller container, like a lot of beta breeders do, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Just keep in mind that you'll have to do a lot more water changes to keep your ammonia levels low, to keep it all tolerable. Okay? So what I will do then is I'll take my container, and this is, imagine this is just a tub, right? And then I'm going to put the female, I'm going to go ahead and put the male in the tub by himself. Okay? And then I'm going to put female in the middle, and I'm going to cover her up like that. Again, so the pair can see each other, but they cannot touch each other. They can't fight. They can't start the spawn. They can't do any of that. I'm going to leave them like this, again, feeding them nothing but live food for a day, sometimes 2. Now, with this, what you're waiting for is you're waiting for the male to make a bubble nest, okay? The male will literally make a bubble nest in one of the corners, usually, close to the female and somewhere, some proximity, so she can see it, and so she's interested and he's interested in each other. And then once that nest is built, then on that 2nd or 3rd day, you can take off the top and let her go. Okay, so now the male and the female are together. At that time, I go ahead and put a sponge filter in carefully, but I'm not going to turn it on because the fry, when they hatch, are extremely fragile. Too much water on top is going to kill them. So I'll put the sponge filter in there just so I can start building up that bacteria in the sponge filter, but I'm not actually going to turn the air on, okay? That's for later on in the project. So after the male and the female are together, you'll see the spawn. They'll wrap each other. They'll chase each other around. The male will actually squeeze the female, it looks like, and she'll go limp and lifeless. She's not dead. She's just fine. Don't worry about it. She'll kind of float down to the bottom. But as they're doing that squeeze, if you can see it, you'll actually see little eggs come down to the bottom, and that's the fertilization of the eggs, and that's when everything's happening. Okay, those eggs will then float down to the bottom. She'll kind of do this number and then land on the bottom of the tank, and it's going to look like she's dead. Please don't freak out. She's not dead. Give her a few seconds and she'll wake back up, and then she'll come back up and they'll do it all over again. Now, those eggs that are on the ground, the male and the female, sometimes both, will then grab the eggs with their mouth and they'll go over to the nest and they'll spit it up into the nest. Again, don't freak out. The male and the female are not eating the eggs. They're just taking them and putting them in the nest where they belong. Okay, and they're going to do this for a period of 2, 3, 4 hours. I'm going to leave the female inside the tank after I've released her. I'm going to leave her in the tank for usually a period about 24 hours, sometimes a little bit longer if the pair's not quite, cohesive in the beginning. During this time, it's going to look like they're fighting. There might be a little bit of fin nipping. Don't worry about it. It's natural. Your male, especially if he's got a big, large tail, she's gonna try to take pieces off it and stuff like that as they're chasing each other. That's okay. Don't worry about it. it'll grow back. That's perfectly normal. Worst case scenario, one of the two will die. Usually it's the female that will die, but usually when that happens, it's because you left the female in too long. Okay, out of the, I don't know, I've probably done 20, 30, 40 spawns. I've never had a fatality. Now, it does happen. It can happen. But just keep it in mind that that's a normal process, that they're going to fight and there's going to be minor fin damage. Not a big deal at all. Okay, so they're done spawning. The male's over in one corner. The female is then going to hide. As soon as that female's hiding, she usually hides behind the sponge filter, or she's going to hide behind the plants. She's going to hide away from the male, away from the nest. The male is going to be nose down underneath the leaf, underneath the bubbles, taking care of the fry, taking care of the eggs. Anytime she comes anywhere near that nest, he's going to chase her right back in that corner. That's the time when you want to take the female out. Okay, her job is done. Take her out carefully, because you don't want to be chasing her all around with the net and everything else and disturbing the bubble and the eggs, because then you're going to freak the male out and ruin the nest and everything else. Take her out by hand carefully. Put her back in one of her cups or in her tank. Feed her live food. She'll bounce right back. She'll be perfect. You can actually breed a female every 7 days, believe it or not. So not that you want to. I prefer a longer recovery time, a couple weeks between spawns. But you can actually, that female will actually be ready to spawn again in a 5-day period. Okay? So now you have the male in there. He's underneath the nest. He's going to be taking care of the babies. The eggs themselves will hatch between 24 and 48 hours. Usually the next day. It's normally probably like a 28-hour period. But it depends on water temperature. Your water temperature, you want it to be between 75 and 82. Outside is fine. I breed all of my betta outside on my lanai, on my patio, so I don't even have to worry about the temperature because it's more natural in my opinion. But if you're breeding indoors, just know that you want to keep your water temperature, between 75 and 82. 78 is about perfect. That's what my temperature usually is, even outside. Okay, so the fry will be there. They'll hatch within that 24 to 48 hour period. They're going to look like little sticks, and they're going to hang up and down. They're going to be vertical. They're not going to be horizontal. It'll look like little hairs in the bubbles. You'll see little hairs hanging down, and you'll see dad, going up in the bubbles, adding bubbles, moving the fry around, moving the eggs around. Don't worry about any eggs that aren't fertilized, that don't hatch. The dad will take care of that. If they're not fertile, he's going to take them out. He's going to dispose of them. Usually he'll eat them if they're not fertilized. And then the fry, as they start to grow, they're going to wiggle and move around. Don't worry about that either. He's going to grab them back up. And he's going to put them back up in the nest. During this time, the fry are super fragile. They're developing all their organs and everything else. They can't even swim horizontally yet. So just give them peace. Let the dad do his job. Dad, you're going to leave in the tank with the fry for 3 to 5 days. Now, the key with him is during his tenure, while he's taking care of the fry, you don't want to feed him at all. It sounds mean, it sounds a little heartless, but the point of feeding him nothing but live food for the 5-day period is to fatten him up and get him in the mood and be able to take care of his fry. If you feed the male while there's fry, chances are you'll trigger that hunger, and he might eat the babies. Okay, so please, 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 while the dad is taking care of the fry, don't feed him, because if you do, you might have a catastrophe and he might take them all up. Okay, you're gonna leave dad in for 3 to 5 days. Longer is better, in my opinion. Don't freak out. Again, people, and myself included, when I first started in the hobby, is where I made my biggest mistakes, is I would take him out too early. I'd say, oh, the fry are swimming by themselves. It's cool. I don't want him to eat the fry. He's going to be hungry and eat them all. And I pull him out too early, and now the fry aren't developed enough to where they can swim on their own. The fry will actually go from vertical to start swimming horizontal on their own a little bit, and they're going to move out of the nest. They're going to go left. They're going to go right. Dad will chase them. He'll grab them again, and he'll put them back up in the nest. This is because the fry are developing their lungs. They actually have a second lung where they can breathe air. So they can breathe air and water. That's why they can live in such small containers. And that's why in the wild they can live in such polluted waters, such as small ponds, swamps, and things like that, because they have that ability to breathe air. And while the fry are moving around in this stage, in that 3 to 5 day period, they're developing their air lung as well as their their break gills. Okay, so leave dad in there, let him be. He's doing his job. The key to taking dad out and knowing when that is when the fry are all by themselves. When they're swimming horizontal and they're running away from dad. You know, as soon as dad grabs them, he'll put them back up and they'll just swim right away. As soon as they start doing that, dad's going to get frustrated because he's going back and forth, up and down, left and right, trying to chase, 200-300 fry. He's going to get worn out. So at some point, he's going to go ahead and break up the bubble nest with his tail. Once that nest is broken up and the fry are swimming horizontally on their own, that's the time to take out dad, okay? And again, it's a 3 to 5 day period. It depends on water temperatures. It depends on how much the fry grow. It depends on things like that, okay? But at that time, you can go ahead and take dad out carefully and make sure you feed him well too. Now, like I said, the male and the female are going to have minor fin damage from the spawn. It's not really a big deal. You can just take them out, put them in their containers, and then I like to add a little bit of sea salt in the top, a couple drops, just a pinch, a baker's pinch, and that'll help with that recovery. Any of the bait, the fish vaccines or anything like that are good too. Just make sure you feed the male and the female really well once you take them out of the containers. That way they can recover, okay? From there, it's all about feeding the fry. The parent's job is done, and now it's time for you to do the work. Fry should be fed realistically every 2 to 3 hours. I found that a big feeding in the morning and a big feeding as soon as I get home from work will do the trick. But for the best results, you really want to kind of time it for those first 10 days. You want to feed the fry every 3 to 4 hours. And you're going to feed them baby brine shrimp, vinegar eels, anything small, anything live, because at that stage, just like any other fry, if it's moving, it's smaller than they are, they're going to try to eat it. So go ahead and feed them regularly. Yeah. So what I do to get ready for taking the dad out, to get ready for taking, having the fry be on their own, once the fry hatch and they're on that 3rd day, I go ahead and I start my baby brine shrimp hatcheries. I like to have 2. That way I always have a backup. I found that redundancy is key. That way if I accidentally spill one, if the baby brine shrimp just die, whatever the case is, and the same with my Daphnia, I always have, a backup. I always have 2 sets. That way I can take from one, I can take from the other, and I'm still good. And the fry always have food that way. But for the first, for the first 10 days, you want to feed them regularly those baby brine shrimp or those vinegar eels. A lot of people use microworms and things like that, which is perfect. It's good. But the thing I will caution you on is if you use only microworms, they sink to the bottom, right? So if those fry are staying on the bottom all the time, they're not going to develop their pectoral fins and everything else, and you're going to run into problems. So you want something that stays up in the water column like the BBS do. The BBS swim all over the place, and so do the vinegar eels. I tend to take fish keeping kind of like I do in real life. If you eat McDonald's every day, the same thing every day, you're going to get sick, right? So it's the same thing with me, with my fish, especially when they're fry. I'm going to feed them BBS one day. I'm going to feed them vinegar eels the next, and then I'm going to feed them the fry food once they get big enough. So yeah, that's the basic process, guys. There's a knack to it. Just understand, for me, the big turning point was getting somebody who knows what they're doing, somebody who's willing to mentor you, to answer those questions. There'll be a ton of questions that you'll have right off the bat, like, oh my gosh, he's doing this, oh my gosh, mom's doing that. Find somebody who knows what they're doing. I was lucky enough to have Liz Kauai and Stacy Finhouse, good friends of mine, who have been in the beta business for a long time. They just do it as hobbyists too, and they're actually, in international beta congress and shows and stuff, so they definitely know what they're doing. And I was like, finally one day I was like, hey buddy, show me what you're doing, because what I'm doing doesn't work. And they were able to walk me through it and tell me those questions and answer those, those 10 o'clock at night, like, okay, what do I do now? Sort of questions. So yeah, find somebody who knows what they're doing and run with it. And the other thing I'll say about beta breeding that happens a lot with new people who are just trying it is they'll get frustrated. They'll kill their first spawn. Or the beta, the fry will just disappear because they did something wrong. You know what? That's life. That's kind of the way it is. I've accidentally killed several spawns. It happens to us all. It's definitely a learning process for me. Once I started writing stuff down, and then I got help from my friends who are basically professionals at it. That helped me a lot. So yeah, don't give up. It does happen. You know, water temperatures and things, accidents do happen in the hobby, and you know, you just keep going, keep moving forward. So yeah, that's the basically the nutshell. I will say there are a lot of good videos online. Myself, Dexter's World happens to be one of my favorite YouTube channels. He has a lot of really good beta videos, breeding videos in general, for about every fish. But if you want a better video example of how I do it, look up Dexter's World beta breeding, and that's exactly the way I do my fish too. Yeah, that's really it, guys. If there are any questions or anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, ask any questions because this was a really well done presentation. I'll say so myself. I never really got into, and I'll ask a question first because this is something that
Sure, yeah.
So, me personally, I don't think I would like do too much with like the normal kind of betas. You know, like the I guess not normal. I guess like what's a good word for it? Like I guess they kind of like if I were to do betas, I think I would do because me personally, this is just like my own personal preference. I like a lot of the wild stuff. You know, no, I mean just like like with like just the oddballs and like the the stuff that like you kind of like that are interesting looking, like just like straight from the wild kind of stuff like that. So
yeah, definitely.
but I guess my question is, for example, like I had chinoides a while back. I gave them to one of my friends, and but like would those types of betas, like is the breeding the same or is it just like a little different?
So the process is essentially the same. The thing I will tell you about breeding wilds, because I've done it before too, and for me, I go back to nature, man. Like especially with wilds, because they are wild, you know. So the more like the wild you can make the tank, the better. Meaning that you add extra plants, you add a piece of wood or two, you add the Indian almond leaves and things like that. So you've got a nice tan water. Stuff like that, like plants on the bottom, it really helps because the fish still has the wild tendencies. It it needs to go back to nature, so to speak. It's realizing that it's in a tank and it's not natural, so it freaks out and it doesn't do what it normally is supposed to do. You know what I mean? So the more natural you can make the tank and the habitat for that fish, the better. But yes, the process is still the same. You will still separate the male from the female. You'll still provide a place for the male to make the nest. As far as timing goes and things like that, as far as the hatch and all that, yes, it's the exact same process. Definitely. Yep.
Good to know. Yeah, that's information that I'm definitely gonna need to like because I always wanted to do it. I just with me and plants, that takes up so much space and equipment and time.
It does.
But like that's why I gave away my chinoides, and my friend was able to successfully. He still breeds them, So like, yeah, I mean, if I were to get into it, I would get I think something like chinoides. I think they're really nice. But yeah, I mean that's good to know. And yeah, I'll just have to come after you.
A lot of problems I ran into for myself. You got to think swamp, you got to think nature, because that's where they live. I think where a lot of people get in trouble with breeding fish is they try to do too much. Especially with beta, man. Let nature be nature. Once you have the basic ground rules, like I said, the basics of the timeline and said, let them go. The less human interaction, the better. As soon as you take out dad and the fryer there, now that's the time for the human interaction to, make sure you do the water changes daily and make sure you're feeding them enough and things like that. But as far as the actual spawning process and setting up for the spawning process, give them privacy, set it up like nature, and just let it go, man. Let nature run its course.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think we can move on to another question. Lisa asked, how old should the pair be before you breed them?
So theoretically, a beta can be 3 months old and breed.
Wow.
I personally wouldn't do it that early. But the pair, a couple of the fish I showed you, the lighter ones that are behind me here, are actually, this is the mother, and This is the daughter, and I've bred her, and she's about 4 months old now. So you can do it at 3 months, and then all the way out to the end of their life. You know, probably not so much. Beta live between 1 and 3 years, depending on size and water conditions and things like that. But yeah, you can theoretically do it at 3 months. I've done it at 4 months. Yeah, it just depends on what you want to do.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that they were able to do that young. It's really cool. Okay, next question. How old should the pair? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Oh, she asked the question twice. Okay. Okay, so I guess that's all the questions. If anyone has any questions, please, this is a good time to ask. You know, Kyle's very knowledgeable about betas, and you also do koi too, right? Because I know you donated.
I do. Yeah, I just started actually recently with that. I got some from the Big Island, a bunch of fry from the Big Island, and fry are essentially, in my experience, essentially the same thing. You know, you want to feed them on a regular schedule. You want to give them clean water, and that's another thing I should mention. So when you're setting up the breeding, the spawning tank, you only want to fill it like 3 inches deep. You don't want to fill it all the way to the top. If you fill it all the way to the top, Dad's going to have to go up and down, up and down, up and down, a lot more travel time to put those eggs back up. So you're in the beginning, at least for the first 10 days. Sorry, I'm trying to play with the camera. You want about 3 inches, and you want to leave it there, okay? And then for that first 10 days, I don't even change the water at all. I just leave it the way it is. Now, if you're breeding in a smaller container, probably want to cut that in half and add water, you know, that 5th day. But you're going to add water very slowly on that 5th day or on that 10th day. You're going to basically add 1/8 of the entire container per time to get those ammonia levels down, because you got to realize that you got, you know, 300 or 400 fish in there. They're all eating, they're all pooping, they're all doing their business. Those ammonia levels come up pretty high, or can come up pretty high. So to combat that, you want to add fresh water about 1/8 until you're about half full of the tank, and then remove 1/8 and put 1/8 back in until they're about a month old. Once they're about a month old, hey man, you're pretty much in the clear at that time. You can start, you know, moving them around and stuff like that, and you're good. But for those first 10 to 20 days, they're very, very fragile, and they're very, very susceptible to ammonia and things like that. So you've got to keep an eye on that. Another thing that helps with that is live plants. I wasn't doing that in the very beginning, but live plants are awesome, man. Any kind of you know, guppy grass or hornwort or anything that floats essentially in the water column, where those fry can sit on top of that plant when they get tired and then go back up and down and get their air and things like that. That's what you're looking for. And then obviously having a plant in the water will take the ammonia out. It's going to add O2 to the water. You know, it's going to make everything better. So plants are always awesome.
Definitely, I love plants. That's what I do. Okay, we had some new questions now. When do you begin separating the male and female fry?
So it's really hard to tell up until the 3-month mark. At the 3-month mark, the fry will start to look male. I think it's a defensive mechanism for nature, as far as I can tell, that they all look female in the beginning. They all look the same. You cannot tell. There's literally no difference between the two, tail size and everything else. At about the 3-month mark, the males will start to fight. They'll start to develop their tails. You'll see them being aggressive. That's when you want to pull them out. Generally speaking, the females can live together their entire lives, especially if they were born together. You can have that sorority, and those females can live together, and they won't fight. There'll be some. It's like chickens. There'll be some pecking order going on, but they're not going to kill each other off. But if you leave the male in past the 3-month mark, they're going to start fighting each other. They're going to start fighting the females. You know, trying to make spawns of their own. So yes, about that 3-month mark. And you're able to tell, because at that 3-month mark, you're going to start to see, like I said, you know, between the pectoral fins, you'll see that egg spot in the middle on the females. You'll see the tail start to develop on the males. That's when you want to go ahead and separate them out, put the males in their own cups. But the females can stay together indefinitely. Yeah,
right, sure. Sorority kind of.
Definitely. Now, I mean, it's just like any other fish. If you've got a highly aggressive female, for whatever reason, you want to pull her out. But majority of females will live their entire lives together, and they're cool with it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next question. Do you have a specific calling process?
So this is something I developed. To me, I'm not gonna give somebody an inferior fish. I'm not gonna sell somebody an inferior fish. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
just not what I
Yeah.
do. So about the 20-day mark is when I will start culling, and what I'll basically just observe the fry. You know, if there's a fry that is smaller, that's not a cull, in my opinion. It's just that they're not getting enough food compared to some of their
Oh.
bigger predecessors. See, but
Mhm.
if there's a deformity, you know, they got some clamp fin going on, their spines are crooked, you know, something like that. If their tails are not straight, you know, they're bent with their tails, that's the time to go ahead and pull them out and cull them, because essentially they're just eating the food that those littler ones that I was talking about can't get to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
And then
makes sense.
on the other end of the spectrum, you know, that 3 month mark is kind of just a guideline too, because you'll have the females especially will eat more than the males, food wise, so they'll be a lot bigger. So you know the females will be that big and the males will still be teeny tiny. So I go ahead and pull all the females and put them together. The bigger females, I'll still put them together, but I'll put them in a separate tank. So again, those smaller fish can grow out. But yeah,
Okay.
if there's no actual deformity, I will leave them alone, even if they're smaller. But yes, definitely.
What
Yeah.
about like color wise? Like I know like people like guppies, you know, sometimes or like even shrimp too, right? Like they'll you know call the ones that are the best looking color wise, like you know like
Yeah.
health wise, right? Like you know like spinach and you know like spinach, you know like those like things are fine, but like you're maybe not looking for the right color. What would you do with those? You know like or like
That's
you have like
personal. That's definitely a personal preference call with me. But the thing that I've noticed, especially with breeding the beta gal, a lot of people are into right now, they're gonna change color on you. So be careful. My fry, literally, the ones that I have out there now, and the 300, they all went blue initially, and I'm like, what the heck? They look nothing like their, you know, they look nothing like their parents. What's going on here? Then they went white, and then they got their koi colors. It's a stacking of
wow.
the chromosomes and the scales themselves, and the water conditions. They will change color. Up into about a year, a beta's color will change depending on water conditions and things like that. So, and again, it's personal preference. If at that 1 month mark, you know, you want all blue ones, you want all red ones, you want white ones, whatever it is, yeah, go ahead and you know focus on those and try to sell or get rid of the others for sure.
What? Yeah, it is definitely a personal preference. I'm just, yeah, I guess like you know, like for I guess for especially like for like competition, you know, wise people will be picky, but yeah, um, but yeah, for me, if I'm able to breed them, you know, I don't care. They're
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's the way I was too in the beginning. I was just keep everything, you know, crooked or not. But the thing you got to realize about it is if there's an actual physical deformity, it's taking away from the other fish. You know what I'm saying? That's
true.
more cost for you. That's less growth for them. So for me, personal preference, you know, if there's anything physically wrong with the fish, then I'll remove them. Otherwise, I'll keep them because, like what I said, with my experience, the color change is so drastic. I mean, we're going from blue to white to koi color dark in a period of about a month. So, yeah.
Wow, they go like crazy, huh? With all the color changes and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. You know, with the koi, I've found that because there's such a combination of colors in the scales, that you'll get a wide range. Like I said, out of those 300, I had 40 something different colors out of all those, and you know, there was a huge variety. So, and then males and females both. You know, it water temp and things like that. You know how some things do with you know male to female ratio, but you know genetics and things like that. You literally it's a shotgun blast of colors with koi for sure. And that's
Yeah,
why I
definitely.
said in the beginning, if you're looking for a certain color, you want to stick with that color, male and female both, because if you stick with that color, chances are majority of the offspring are going to be that color, but not all of them. Not all of them by a long shot. You know, I say what I've seen is about 40% turn out like the female, 30% turn out like the male, and that remaining 30 is just a collage of a combo between the male and female, and then what other underlying colors, because it has a lot to do with the parents too. You know, not just the fish that you have that you put together, but what did their parents look like and their parents and
True.
stuff like that, because you know genetics are passed down. So that's why I got such a wide variety with those 300, you know, of 42 different colors.
Wow. Wow, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much like a lot. Like, yeah. I mean, I never really got into breeding fish. I don't know too much about this, but yeah, this is really interesting. You know, with just like genetic wise, and I think that's really interesting. You know, because like you're gonna get all like these different variations. I think that's so fascinating.
Definitely, and that's part of the
Yeah,
fun for me because I never know what color I'm gonna get. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like
It's always a
this
surprise. It's a waiting game, you know? You never
it's a
know.
surprise. Yeah, yeah, it's a fun surprise for sure.
Definitely. Okay, so I guess we can move on to the next question.
Mhm.
Again, keep shooting out questions. You know, this is a great time to do so. Okay, so Lisa again asked, um, can you mix or breed beta? I guess she means like types. So like, can placats only breed with placats? And also, how do people get specific colors?
Yes, you can. So that's a whole nother piece um, of genetics, though. That's what you have to remember. If I'm breeding two crown tails, majority of the fry should be crown tail, but that doesn't mean all the fry will be crown tail. So if I'm breeding a splendid, a regular beta, one that you see in the pet store with one of the unique tail types, say a double tail or the crown tail beta, um, you're going to have a lot more genetic variation, not only in color, but in body type. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
So again, that's why I go with whatever you like. Try to get the pairs as unique, as color matched as possible, and also do that with tail type. If you like crown tails, stick with crown tails. If you like placats, stay with placat. That sort of thing.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. You answered that pretty well. Let's see. Okay, so can males, if they are raised together, uh, uh, can they also live together so long there are a lot of hiding spaces? So I guess I guess she's like saying like if they born together, you keep them in the same tank their entire lives. Can they coexist with
I have
hiding spaces?
Let's see. So I have I have a sorority out there. Of the 300, I haven't separated them all out. There's still some males in there.
Wow.
I would not recommend it because there's tail damage, there's fin damage on the ones that I am taking out once they're big enough. Again, those fins grow back. It's not detrimental. It's not bad. But I would say no because eventually, once they mature to the point, where they're ready to spawn and do the thing, they're gonna fight each other. I wouldn't recommend it. You can try it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
It's kind of just like a genetic thing, right? They kind of have that mentality already in them, right?
Yeah,
Aggressive with males.
predisposition to fight. It's the that the instinct to continue the species. And how do they do that? Well, they make sure they're only the biggest baddest male on the block.
Makes sense. Okay. Have you ever entered your competitions with your beta? So like I think has the one every year, like or like others like I'm sure there's like the international or like American competitions that they're out there. Have you ever entered any of your
Yeah,
fries
I
with
did.
it?
So this last one that we were able to, I put my giant betas in it, and it was a lot of fun. I
Oh,
was
that was
able to
your betas.
win some ribbons. Yeah, I don't know if you remember the giant blue
I
one and then
do.
the two giant silver and black ones. Those
Yeah,
were
those
those
are
were all
nice.
my fish. Yep. Hmm.
Oh yeah, congratulations! Yeah, I saw those and yeah, they look nice because I always like going through all the fish because I enjoyed the aquascapes and stuff like that. But it was nice to go and see. Yeah, those betas are nice. I was impressed. I
Yeah, they were super cool. I was sad when that one died, unfortunately, but
uh,
it's part of the game you play with the fish. They don't last forever, so.
right.
But yeah, it was really cool because I actually got to spawn those fish, and I sold quite a few of them to different people, different members and non-members alike. And they still hit me up today with pictures of them. They're like, "When are you doing giants again? When are you doing giants again? I want to do it." So I'm pretty stoked about that. My next spawn that I'm planning on doing is a giant spawn here in the near future.
That's really
I'm
cool.
currently babysitting a fish for a friend of mine that's taking up my spawn tank for the giants. But as soon as she comes back from that, I plan on doing the giants. So
Yeah, that's cool. I like your giants. They were really nice. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like an eye, because I remember it was like really eye catching. A year later, I still remember.
yeah, they're just so unique. They're so much bigger than pet store
Right?
variety.
Yeah, I know. They're very impressive, and I mean, yeah, I just remember like they were huge. Like, oh, they're crazy.
Yep,
Um,
the ones I have now are not quite that big, but they're growing, so they'll get there.
yeah, I mean, I really like those. But yeah, anyways, let's see the next question. Joe asked, when changing water for betas in jars, do you add salt, tannins, or anything special? So I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So I love aquarium salt for everything. Again, from the people who taught me how to do betas, they kind of told me that the natural way is best. I don't like using the any of the solutions or anything like that necessarily. I go with straight sea salt and then Indian almond leaf extract. Any of those, that's the first go-to cure for anything. And yes, I try to change, depending on my schedule. I've been kind of, busy lately, but I change my water at least once a week. And as I do the water change, I will put just a pinch, 2 or 3 grains of the coarse sea salt in there that I get from, where do I get? Mauna Loa Pets. They have the sea salt aquarium salt over there pretty cheap. So I put a pinch in with each jar. Yes.
All right, that's yeah. I mean, I guess I wouldn't really need. I probably would keep things low. I'm not gonna go big, full on like that. But yeah, that's a good question. Okay, so yeah, Joe said he got some of your. I think some of the, I guess your fry or your giants from the auction last year. I guess the mega auction or
Cool.
um,
Very cool.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so Lisa says giants are mouth brooders. So how do you condition them and keep them healthy since they can't eat for some time?
Sorry, what was the question again?
Okay, so she said giants. I guess the giant betas are mouth brooders. So how do you condition them and keep them healthy since they can't eat for some time?
So it's essentially the same process. There's a difference between super giants and sumos. I think she's probably referring more to the super giants than the giants, because the giants that I had, the blue one and the silvers that I had in the show, they're not actually mouth brooders. They're just like the normal conditions. But the super giants and the bigger ones like that, they do actually have the eggs and stuff in their mouth rather than put it up in the nest. It would be the same process essentially, because again, the male, if it's a good male, and generally speaking they are, especially if you condition them beforehand, is going to be more concerned about propagating the species, keeping his fry alive, than worrying about hunger issues. So yes, the even with the super giants and the bigger ones, yes, it would be the same process. Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good question, Lisa. I guess we can ask any final questions that you guys have for Kyle. These have been great questions. They've been a great Q and
Yeah,
A,
for sure.
and definitely. And I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to put these up. Like I can, for example, I could put these up on the
That's
screen. That
all
would
good,
probably
buddy.
be more
That's all
helpful.
good.
But yeah, any final questions? And I guess we're gonna try and keep this around like an hour long, lengthwise, and then we can get to the along with the auction. So I
For
guess we
sure.
can ask for any final questions for Kyle. All right, are you? Oh yeah, are you into wild betas, aliens? I had an alien a while back. I loved it. I love that guy. But
They are beautiful. They are. Yes, I have. I have done the wilds before. Right now, I've mostly doing kois and giants. It's all about space, man. You know how it is with Hawaii, where everything's super expensive, and I don't
yeah,
have a whole lot of room currently in this place. But once we move, yes, I'm gonna expand out again and add to it. I wanna do the koi breeding, not just the raising of the fry too. Once I get some space, but you know how it is, man.
yeah.
Right now, I've got about probably 350 to 400 fish, so I'm pretty
Whoa.
much out of room. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. No. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. You have so much of what you have ready, but yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, when if you get more space, yeah, definitely do the wilds, man. I find those guys so fascinating too, and
Yeah.
they're
They are gorgeous for sure.
especially getting like a black water setup for them. Yeah. I mean, I think they're really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think that's about it. So should we head into the auction now? And
Cool. Yeah.
I know you have the majority of the auction will be some of the fish you donated to the club. So
Cool. Cool.
yeah, again, everyone here, these fish that you will be hopefully bidding on. We ask if you, these are great fish too. I mean, we only put the best of the best up here. So please, we ask if you, could just help us out. All the money and the proceeds will go to the Aquarium Society. And again, it's really nice because you get some really, really high quality fish. And what more can you ask for, right? So what I'm gonna do now, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna share my screen, and then we're gonna have a little PowerPoint slide here or Google Slides that I can that I'll put up here, and did you see it? All
Yep.
right. Okay, so We have auction time rules and info. Okay, so Oahu residents only. I say that, but if you want, I mean, I'm sure. I don't know if you have anyone out of island here, but I don't think anyone here wants to deal with shipping and stuff. I mean, if you want to, Kyle or Lisa, I mean, it's up to you. But we try to keep this thing Oahu only. That's how it would normally be, anyways, for an auction. So that way people can pick up, and we don't have to worry about shipping and the cost of that. But like I said, you can work out an arrangement. And yeah, we have if you win, you must contact seller to arrange pickup. So yeah, we're gonna keep the auction small. We have like just not that many people here, so yeah, I mean, I think this will work out. But yeah, if you win, you must contact the seller to arrange pickup, and we ask that you increase, you think, the increments only be $1 at a minimum. So you can do higher if you want to kind of scare off other bidders. But just like normally how we would do it in person, $1 increments only. So no like cents and like no like 25 cents, higher. We ask for $1. And again, all proceeds will go to Haas. So we do appreciate, anyone who bids and goes for some of these items. Um, okay, so Joe asks, do you ship fish to outer islands? I'm on Kauai, so I don't know if Lisa will be down for that. I got Lisa, you'll be into that. But Kyle, would you be interested in shipping fish?
I guess I could for the club. I haven't actually done it, but I know I have a lot of good friends that have done it. So I mean, yeah, we can try it. Obviously, if I can't get the fish to you, then I won't, collect the money from you. But I can try.
Yeah, for sure. And if you do, and I think we did this last time. I think Jesse was fine shipping fish out of the island or to like neighbor island. We do ask like if you are okay, Lisa does not ship, unfortunately. So Lisa's item will have to be Oahu only. But yeah, so we ask that you will, we don't want Kyle to have to pay the shipping costs. So we ask if we pay just a little extra just so he can, have everything that's necessary to ship out island. So, but yeah, I guess we can start with the first item. So this is Lisa's item. And I don't know, Lisa, what you wanted the starting bid to be. So I just put it at $5. But uh, let's see. Okay, so and Lisa also mentioned that like for her item or like for other items future, if you want to, if you have like a friend on Oahu that is willing to ship for you, I guess you can do that. Like you can bid and then just have your friend pick up and ship. But yeah, stuff like that you can do. Anyways, Lisa's item is uh 4 red grass male guppies. 4. And these are really nice guppies. If you're into guppies, I think these are nice. Will be a nice thing to add. Or I mean, you have you're gonna get 4 males, so I guess like if you have like an aquascape or kind of like a show tank or community tank, I think these would be great. You're not gonna get the females with kind of the dull color. You're only gonna get the really nice males. So starting bid is $5. Put it in the chat. If you want to bid. Lisa says these are very young juveniles. Their finish will get larger. Yeah, so I mean, you gotta grow them out. And yeah, I mean, I think these are really nice. And starting bid's $5 for 4. I mean, I think that's a really good deal. Even if you just win it for $5. If you're on Oahu, I think these are great. Lisa does a really good job with her fish, honestly. She always will bring to the auctions, and and her guppies are really nice. She does a really good job raising them. She has great setups, always clean. She feeds them very well. So yeah, again, you're getting the best of the best that we have to offer. These guppies are nice, and yeah, it's a really good deal. But I'll give anyone a last chance to put a bid in. $5. It's pretty cheap and reasonable, I think. If not, we'll move on to the next item. So I think we will move on to the next item. Okay, so now we will get into Kyle's items, and these are cool. I don't have the space for them, but if you do, these look really nice. So we have a 4-inch Japanese koi. Starting bid is $12. And again, all the contact info is on the screen. And yeah, so Kyle's willing to ship these, or if you're on Oahu, you can just meet up or something like that. But 4-inch Japanese koi starting bid is $12. Um, these are I really always wanted to get into koi because I think they're amazing. I always wanted. Yeah, I mean, me too. I wish I had the space. Right, totally would get these if I had the space. But like, um, Kyle, you want to just kind of go over like quickly, just like to for anyone who like doesn't know really how to take care of these, like what are like the requirements and what you need to take care of these?
Sure, man. It's not actually they're not actually that difficult. They're super easy. Think of it like a big goldfish, and you'll never go wrong. They're perfect for outdoor ponds, outdoor tubs. I've sold a lot of them to people with ponds, or outdoor pubs or ponds. They are Japanese koi. They're actually from the Big Island, a local breeder friend of mine. They're a mix of Showa and Gashinki koi, if you know anything about koi. Gashinki are the yellow, and then the Showa are the white and red and black koi that you see. So this one's obviously Gashinki because it's got the gold. Yeah, it's got a lot of gold flakes on it. It's a pretty fish.
Yeah, I know. It's just so. I wish I just had the space for it because this is a really beautiful fish.
Yeah.
I really like it. I mean, yeah, I'm sure. I don't know if people have ponds here or people that have a pond. But yeah, these are great. I mean, I wish even like with your big tank too. I'm sure you could put these in there. But
Yeah, they definitely they're gonna grow as they age a little bit. But
of course.
if you have a large 55-gallon or larger, I would say they would be fine.
Yeah, I mean, this is 4 inches. Grow them out. Sell them when it gets bigger, or give it to a friend, or like Joe said, someday get a pond.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think yeah, I think these are great fish. I know. I wish I had the space. Honestly, I would totally get these, but okay, I'll give everyone a last chance opportunity to bid. Again, all proceeds go to Haas. It's a beautiful, beautiful fish. I mean, honestly, it looks amazing. When I was making this, I was impressed. I was like, oh wow, these are great fish. When you first sent me the photos of these guys, but yeah. Okay, so we'll move on. The next one is a smaller 2-inch Japanese koi. So again, 2.5 inches. It's not that big. So if you have like a I don't know what, maybe like a 40 beater or something like that around there. I mean, I'm sure you could probably grow it out a little in there, and then move it to a bigger tank. But like, yeah, look how small it is. That's crazy. I mean, I don't know. From the picture, it looks kind of small, but I'm sure it's a little bigger than.
Yeah, they're all just like any other fish. Some of them grow. They're brothers and sisters. This one is actually, it's like a brown and black gold flake. You really can't see it so well in the picture, but in the sunlight and in the light, he's got gold flecks, and it's a really pretty fish.
Wow.
The other thing about koi too, guys, is you can definitely put them in a community tank with other goldfish. I've got a good friend of mine. She's actually growing 2 of my breeder fish for my koi breeding project somewheres down the line. But she's got a ton of all kinds of goldfish over there, and they get along well together. They're just fine.
Yeah,
They eat the same food. A lot of people, you gotta feed koi food. Koi food's expensive. It's not, brother. As long as you've got a high protein flake, it works just as well. All of my koi that I have, I feed them the high protein flake, and they're just fine.
Yeah, I mean, I would totally. So I'm sure you could probably get away with a 21-gallon for a little bit, Lisa. I don't know, but yeah, no, like, yeah, this is just a beautiful fish. All right, well, I'll give everyone another last chance opportunity to get these, and again, if you're watching the replay and you're interested, contact our sellers. If you're watching the replay and you see things, contact our sellers. They can sell. I mean, it won't be for Haas, but because Haas really is just for the auction. But if you see anything or you're interested in bettas, and want to think about purchasing some from Kyle or other people, but yeah, definitely. Okay, so we can go next. All right, so our next item is another Japanese koi, 2.5 inches, and I like the color on this one too. I like the top. It's like the nice kind of like kind of like almost like a yellow orange with the black. I think it's a really nice fish.
Yeah, for sure. They you know, the interesting thing about koi too is they tend to change color a little bit. They all start out black, and they change color just like the betta fry do.
Oh.
So it's been a cool experience to watch them grow up and develop colors.
Yeah, these are nice. Well, I'll kind of not, dwindle too long on this one because we had the same item earlier and no one
Yeah,
really
it's okay. Yeah,
cared for them. Yeah, but like again, it's a good deal. I mean, I don't have the space. My biggest tank is the 40, and that's a saltwater seahorse tank.
sure. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I know. I just would honestly if I had a pond. I'd totally get these. Like that's the thing about a pond. If I had like a big pond, times like these would be so nice. If I get like if there's like fish available like a koi or like other stuff, I would just like spend on these and I would throw them in. But like I know I just don't have that. And but yeah, I mean again, if you're watching the replay, you know who to contact. As Lisa said, right? You know who to get in contact with. Contact information's all on the screen, so you can get in contact with Lisa if you want guppies, betas, and koi, Kyle, and I have like a plant I put up for auction that will be later on. But okay, let's move on. And okay, so we're getting into the betas now. And again, we all know Kyle's process, and he does it really well. When what he was able to accomplish last year at the show, he does it really well. So again, you're getting high quality fish. But yeah, these betas, you don't need the big pond and stuff. So if you want something nice, like a little small nano tank, you're looking to stock it, perfect opportunity right here. So. First is a male beta, starting beta $7. Do you know the exact species, Kyle, or like the exact type?
This is a plaquette, but like I said, this is one of the fish that came of the 42 colors. His mom and his dad were actually beta galaxies, but for whatever reason, the genetic cross came out blue with red fins. He's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a nice fish, and I like the white tips on the bottom. Oh, Lisa asked, can these betas be raised in a community tank?
Yes, if you put one male in the community tank, just fine. You shouldn't have an issue. Again, but if you put more than one male in the tank, you're going to have issues, yeah.
Yeah, I actually, when I was younger, I had a 10-gallon tank. I don't think this is advised because it's a 10-gallon tank. I don't know. But I had like a 10-gallon tank. I put a male beta in there. I think it was like a dumbo ear, placat or something. And I had a bunch of other community stuff in there when I was like really younger. I had like some Cory cats and some tetras, and it worked. And I thought that was super cool because I always was taught, or I guess not taught, but I always kind of had that that perception that betas can only be by themselves. They can only be in a tank by themselves. Right. So it was cool. And yeah, I think if you have a community tank, and you have it large enough, and I think actually not large enough, like I had a 10-gallon, but like if you have a community tank, I think these are great additions. It'll be a nice kind of like main fish. I think mine used to be super aggressive for feeding. It was super fun to have a beta in there, and you're gonna give it it's kind of interesting. You're gonna see it really swim around in a larger tank. So $7, it's a good deal, especially for these placats nowadays. I know these go for a little bit for kind of more than usual, or more than like your Peckos and normal crown tails and stuff like that. So $7 is a pretty good deal. Last chance opportunity. We'll go on to the next one, but again, it's a super good deal. $7. It's just change. It's pretty good. We can view all the auctions and go back if needed. Yeah, we can. So there's more betas. So honestly, what I think I think it's a good idea. We can just go back through every one, after.
Sure.
Usually people would be able to see everything and bid on what they want. So yeah, I guess if you don't want to bid now, view what is available, and then we can go back, and I'll go back one by one, each picture and slide, and I'll ask if anyone's interested. And same, for people viewing later on, we can. Oh, go ahead.
With these fish, I have several that are the same color. What I can do is if they want that particular fish, I can do that one. or I can bring down, you know, 2 or 3 that are similar color and let the person decide which one they want to do. If you want to do it that way too.
Yeah,
I mean, I have, like I said, I have several. That way, you know, I want the people that get the fish that they want, you know, because then they'll enjoy it that much more.
exactly. So that's a great. That's awesome. So I guess just use this kind of like a reference. You know,
There you
Kyle
go.
the exact fish or you know something another type or not another type, but I mean like another like you know specimen. You know, if you want something a little different. Okay, so we'll move on to the next beta. It's the same thing. This one is another male beta. This one's so nice too. It looks I like the all blue. You know, it's like you know kind of has like the electric blue on the like the I guess it kind of like the electric blue ram kind of coloration on the fins there, and I really like it. $7 again. It's a good deal. Again, no one really bid on the first beta, so I'll keep this one a little shorter. But again, we'll go back and I think you know if you want to view what everything is it blue and yellow? Is it a little yellow at the end, or is it kind of like a like
It's,
little green
yeah,
tint?
the fins are a lot lighter. It's starting to lighten up again. With this particular spawn, they've changed color 2 or 3 times. So what the actual will be, yeah, it looks like the fins are going just a little bit yellow.
Okay, yeah, good eye, Lisa. I didn't really pick up on that. I can see kind of like the yellowish on the tints a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so I'll give everyone a last chance. If not, we will go. And then again, you have another opportunity at the very end. Or again, watching the replay, contact Kyle for the betas. Okay, so these I think are really interesting. The 5 beta Galaxy Koi 1 month old, and you can't really sex them at this point, right? You know, you're just gonna get mixed randoms.
So these are actually they're actually 26 days old now.
Okay.
No, actually 36 days old. Blah. Because when I sent it to you, they were a month old, but they're 36 days old now, and they're
Okay.
starting to develop that first layer of color. You remember what I said that they all turned blue initially? So
Yeah.
these ones are doing the same thing. They're mostly blue. Some of them are getting a little bit of red in them, but yeah, that's really cool colors for sure.
Okay, but you can't sex them, or you just
No,
gonna
not yet. No. And they are
Okay.
eating fried food. You don't have to worry about live food, although live food is better in my opinion. You can feed them any of the fried pellets, you know, the micro pellets and things like that. So
Yeah, you know, honestly, guys, I think this is a great deal. You know, because Galaxy Koi betas are honestly they're super nice. Honestly, they're crazy nice, and um you know they are and they go for kind of a lot now. You know, they are kind of popular. You know,
yeah,
Galaxy
they are
those are the
definitely.
ones with all like the rainbow kind of colors, right? And like all the um you know, I know aquascapes here in Hawaii or on Oahu, you know, they have those occasionally, right? And you see how nice theirs are. And you're gonna get 5, all right? You're gonna get 5. All you gotta do is raise them up, and you know, again, Kyle said they are eating dried food, and they're eating dried. You don't have to worry about anything live. You don't have to worry about baby brines or anything. Like that. You know, all you gotta do is raise them up, and you're gonna get really 5 beautiful specimens. You know, like male and female are all nice, and you're gonna get them for a good deal. And I think this is a great steal. So you know, could these work in a community tank with like some like just nano fish?
Yes, definitely. Again, once they get old enough, once they get big enough, you're gonna probably want to separate the male out, but the females will be just fine forever. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. So again, you know, you can keep them together as of now. You don't have to separate them. I mean, you can't even sex them, but you know,
Right, right. But once they're bigger, yeah.
yeah, for sure. So, um, yeah, I mean, if anyone's interested, please bid. I think it's a great deal. Honestly. Um, okay. Again, we can go. We're gonna come back to this after. So you know, think about it. But again, I'm just saying, yeah, this is a great deal. Okay, so that is all for Kyle. Kyle's stuff. So I just threw in a little plant, same as last month, and I'm willing to ship to wherever you may be. Um, so this is Bucephalandra velvet. It's just one of the more common Bucephalandras I farm and grow out. This picture is when I got them immersed. they are submerged now. The coloration looks very similar, but they are submerged. So you don't have, what I mean by immerse and submerge is immerse is grown out of water, right? And that's what they normally are, like the wild, or they farm them. So it's faster and easier to do that, than growing them underwater. But I did the transition already, so you don't have to worry about melting because sometimes that will happen, right? When you go from out of water to underwater, you're gonna get that melting transition that happens because they're not used to underwater. But that's all taken care of. You're gonna get a nice, and I forgot to put the size. It's not gonna be the size of this picture. I'll give you like a 5 to like 8 leaf piece. Just something small. You can grow out. I sell this on my website too, on my Etsy shop. But it's a really nice plant, and I really like this species of Bucephalandras, like the longer leaves. That's pretty popular. But $5 is a good deal. Any boost really for $5 is honestly a great deal. So, you know, you can bid on that. If not, we can just contact me later. And but yeah, I mean, you gotta. I think if you contact me later, I won't have it at $5. This is I have it at the auction price just for the Haas auction. So, if you want to get it cheap, you gotta get it now and support the Aquarium Society. But anyways, we can go back to the top and we can go item by item. And so we all seen the items, right? We have the red grass milk guppies, 4-inch Japanese koi, another or a 2-inch, 2.5-inch Japanese koi, another 2.5-inch Japanese koi, one male beta, another male beta, 5 beta galaxy koi, and I think these are a really great item right here. This is a great pickup, and Bucephalandra velvet. So that is all. Yeah. I mean, anyone can contact Kyle later on. If you contact Kyle for any of the items, I guess Kyle, you don't have to, deal with like, anything with Haas. That'll be on your own.
It's fine, man. I'm not even worried about it. Like if they want to contact me later and it's these particular fish, I can give it to the club. It's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, not a problem at all.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, we can work it out later too. But yeah. I mean, anyone can contact anyone later on. I think Lisa will be fine. Lisa, if that's okay with you, contact anything for the guppies. And I know Lisa has guppies. Guppies. I don't know if it's guppies.
Yeah, guys, mine's on Facebook. Go ahead and hit me up on Facebook. Send me a text message on Messenger or whatever, and definitely I'll get back to you. I check it all the time. I sell fish regularly, and I live in Aiea. I travel down to work in downtown in Honolulu. I actually work at the mall down there in Ala Moana. So if I want to meet you or you need to meet me or whatever it is, we're willing to do that. That's cool. We can make it work. But yeah, no big deal.
Okay, yeah, I actually live in Aiea too. We live it's nice to have coral fish there.
Yeah, nice. Yep, I'm in the tower right across from Pearl Ridge.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's a few towers there. Yeah. Kyle, do you have a website or store where people can look at?
So I do not currently, but my Facebook page where I do a lot of beta stuff is Fireball Bettas Hawaii. Just look up Fireball Bettas and you'll see there, or my Facebook page. A lot of us use 808 buy sell trade fish too. There's a lot there. So
okay, all right. Well, we'll go item by item. I will probably have my item normal price. I'll still donate it to Haas, but I'll have it. So if you want to get my boost, you gotta get it for cheap. You gotta get it now, or else it's gonna be like normal price. Which I think is like 50. Actually, I don't know how much. I'll figure that out later. But anyways, let's begin with the round 2. If you also have items, so please. Lisa said these won't be available, so you gotta get them now. $5. Anyone? Do we have anyone who's willing to bid on these? Thank you. Oh yeah, Lisa put up Kyle's page. I think this Fireball Betas. Thank you, Lisa. And okay, so we'll move on from the guppies. But again, you can contact all the contact info is on the screen. All right, foreign Japanese koi, $12. Do we have anyone willing to start the bid off at $12? Anyone? No? Okay, we'll move on to the next one. 2.5 inch Japanese koi. If you have a community tank, start growing it out. You can grow it out. You don't have to have a huge pond right away. Let this thing grow out, and then you can, find a different home for it later on. But just something to have. I think it's a really nice fish. Um, $10. Do we have anyone? If not, we will move on. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. So another Japanese koi. If you prefer this one, we can compare. Yeah, I'll check out the page after too, Lisa. Lisa's saying it's very nice, but we can compare the two. If you like this coloration better, you can bid on it. It's just personal preference. If you will like the all gold, there's that one. But you have the 2-inch Japanese koi with the black and the orange. And anyone? No. Okay, we'll move on. Male beta, $7. I really like this one. It's nice. It has the orange, kind of like flash at the end of the fins there. Really nice looking fish, and like the orange tips here. Or not orange. I'm sorry, white tips here, and then it's red. And I really like this fish, and I think for like a small little aquascape too, right? Like if you have like a little nano tank, 3 gallons, perfect fish for that. Anyone know? Okay, we'll go with the second beta. Anyone wants the second beta, same price. This one's nice too. Has the orange, not orange, kind of like a yellow tint to it, but the lighter blue on the fins, and the dark blue on the main body. I like it. Anyone? Okay, we'll move on. Again, this is I think one of the better items tonight. I think this is really nice. All the items are great, but I really like this one. I think it's such a good deal. 5 beta Galaxy Koi Fry, 1 month old or 36 days old, right? As of now.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So these are like you'll get some nice specimens. These guys will color up and they will look really nice. Koi betas are galaxy koi betas are honestly one of the nicer species I've seen. No one. Okay. And final item is loose velvet. Anyone wants that for $5? Good deal. All these are good deals. No. Okay. We'll end the auction. I think what we'll do is we'll promote these auctions a lot better for next month. That way, we can get more people interested in these auctions. Um, yeah, and we're gonna have more people working with me to run these things. So yeah, we're only trying to up. I'm trying to end the broadcast. My bad. I thought it was end the stop sharing. Whoops, we don't want to do that. um, but yeah, no, we're only trying to improve these live streams, guys, and I think that's the only way we can do this. Meet. We want to do it right, right? If this is the only thing we can do now. Christmas party's canceled for next month, unfortunately. Um, you know, um, Oh, Hector. Hi, how do you bid? Hector, I'll put up the auction again. You just comment down below in the chat if you want anything. And I don't think anyone's gonna bid at this point, Hector. So we'll put this back up. If you see anything we'll go over the items again. If you see anything that you want, you can just say what you want, comment the starting bid. But yeah, so we have this is Lisa's red grass male guppies. 4-inch Japanese koi, starting bid's $12. Really good deal. We have another 2.5 inch, or we have a 2.5 inch Japanese koi. This one's like all gold. 2.5 inch Japanese koi. This one's a little like the coloration's a little different. I like it though. We have a male beta here, $7. Another male beta. The 5 Galaxy Koi Fry. This is a nice species of beta. I really like it. And they already are on dried food and loose flanger velvet. So yeah, if you have any, if you want anything, just let us know. No one really bid tonight, so yeah. So we have some items up there. Anyways, yeah, but like I was saying, we were always just trying to up the game, and yeah, I mean, All I can say is that I think I'm trying to get a really, we're gonna get like another amazing guest next month to do another presentation. Kyle, yeah, Kyle was great this month.
Thank you guys. It was so much fun. It was cool. It was fun.
Yeah, honestly, Kyle, you should. When we get back in person, I think when we can get more people. Like, not everyone in the club, is like tech savvy or like made it tonight. So I think we're back in person, we you should definitely think about doing another one of these presentations because I think a lot of people will definitely benefit from like
Yeah.
hearing what you
Yeah.
have to say, and especially if you want to go, talk about your koi as well. I know you're starting to do that, so yeah, I think
A
there's
lot
a lot.
easier to see the fish in person too. Yeah.
Exactly true. Yeah. Yeah, I know. And you did a really good job with the visuals. It definitely was definitely, yeah. I mean, at Lisa said she learned a lot. I learned a lot too. It was really great. So yeah, thank you so much, honestly,
Mhm.
for coming out and doing this again. Yeah, we will hopefully can see you in person and when we do a meeting and
Sure.
yeah, I can do one there too. But I guess if anyone has any final questions, questions for Kyle, for me, or for anything about hash, just 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 shoot them out. If not, I think I think we can call this one a night. It was a great stream, everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Kyle, is there anything you want to say before we sign off?
No, just thanks a lot, man. It was fun. It was a cool opportunity. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was really great. So thank you everyone for another great meeting. Or we'll be back in December. We're gonna shoot for December. We're gonna shoot for. Let me try to get my calendar out. The first Friday of December, which will be December 4th. That is the date we'll be looking to do the next meeting. So save the date. If not, we'll shoot out a confirmation. Like we always shoot out emails. And Facebook, we always post on our Facebook group. So join that Honolulu Aquarium Society Facebook group. And on our Instagram too. That's where we push out a lot of our notifications and when we email it out too. But like when we first know, like me and Lisa, we will always push it out on our social medias. So follow us there when you want to hear up like the first like news of when we have a date. But we're likely gonna do it December 4th, and we'll let everyone know if something changes. But we're gonna have another guest, and it should be fun. So thank you, Kyle, again. It was great, and we'll see everyone next month in December again. Christmas meeting or Christmas party is unfortunately canceled this year due to the obvious reasons. So yeah, hopefully we can have a nice festive Christmas meeting next month. All right, thank you, everyone.
See you guys. Good night.